So we're at the school. It was funny because some of the Proud Boys actually walked right by me. They came down the wrong side, or I don't know if they came down that side on purpose just to try to intimidate us on that side. But they came by and they were going to walk down my aisle. And I don't know, I must have an intimidating look. Do I look intimidating? I must have had an intimidating look or something, but they were going to walk down. They took one look at me and they went down and crossed where there was nobody. And they went over to the other side where all of their buddies were sitting. So I'm going to read you from the Chicago Sun-Times. So if you look up Chicago Sun-Times Proud Boys Downers Grove, you will see this. And it's dated November 21st, 2021. Which I think was when it was updated last, because this was a week. This was a week before my tweet went viral. And my tweet went viral. Yeah, they were on November 15th. It was when this actually all went down. November 15th, 2021 was the date of the school board meeting that the Proud Boys were at. And then a week later, it was the 22nd, was when my tweets went viral. But we'll get more into that here in a bit. Okay, so here's let's see. All right, let me read to you. Proud Boys join effort to ban genderqueer book from school library, rattling students in suburban Chicago. The Sun-Times has confirmed that members of the far-right group attended a school board meeting in Downers Grove last week. One allegedly called a student who spoke in favor of the book a pedophile. If you go, you'll see that they're holding up these signs with genderqueer on it, and no porn signs and stuff like that. And they all have, well, everybody has masks on because it's the pandemic. But CNN was there as well. They were there with their TV cameras. So, all right, let me continue reading. When a group of conservative Downers Grove parents organized this year to oppose mask mandates and equity initiatives at schools, it led to some tense school board meetings in the western suburbs. Yet students at Downers Grove North and Downers North and Downers South high schools said they didn't see a big impact on their lives until the parents sought to remove a graphic novel by a non-binary author from the school libraries over concerns it included a few sexually explicit illustrations, a fight that caught the attention of the Proud Boys, a far-right gang that has recently seized on the cultural wars playing out at school districts across the country. A Proud Boys contingent ultimately showed up for a board meeting in Downers Grove last Monday where the book was discussed, the Chicago Sun-Times has learned. They were there. Actually, I'm pretty sure they were there. Edgar Remy del Torre, a leader of the group's Northern Illinois chapter who was at the January 6th insurrection in Washington, D.C., said he was among roughly 10 Proud Boys in attendance. They were joined by Proud Boys associate Brian Kramer, who has appeared at demonstrations with members of the group and who was charged with brandishing a knife at a Black Lives Matter demonstration in Joliet last summer. Their presence at the meeting, where students said the men jeered at them, even called them pedophiles for supporting keeping the book in the library, was unnerving and intimidating, they told the Sun-Times. It has led to rifts among students in the school, including one who wore Donald Trump garb to class this week while arguing against the book. Politics has never caused division in the school setting before, said to Tabitha Irvine, a Downers North junior, but it kind of fell apart after the board meeting. Earlier this month, signs of the tension began leaking from Community High School District 99 board meetings into high school hallways. An article in the Downers North student paper, the LGN Omega, led to some student chatter about the parents' attack on board policies, primarily by the conservative group Wake Up D99. Wake Up D99, that was it. Not DG99, as I said earlier. As did a lawsuit over mask mandates that some parents joined against 145 Illinois school boards and Governor J.B. Pritzker. Then some area Proud Boys caught wind of the complaints against Gender Queer, a book that has been targeted by conservatives nationwide. Gender Queer is an autobiography about non-binary author Maya Kobabe's journey of gender identity as a teenager and young adult. A few pages that include illustrations of sex acts have drawn the bulk of the ire, while other students, parents, and community members see the book as a vital tool for youth discovering their identity and efforts to ban it as censorship. The District 99 November board meeting was promoted on Telegram, an encrypted messaging app favored by extremists and others on the far right. A flyer advertising a school board showdown was posted to the Telegram channel for the Northern Illinois chapter of the Proud Boys, which has more than 280 subscribers. Please join the parents of District 99 fight to keep pornography out of Downers Grove schools, the post said. A Telegram account apparently belonged to Kramer also urged other Telegram users to join him at the school board meeting. I will be speaking against child porn in my kid's school. The left is planning to show up strong, he wrote. Kramer wouldn't say if he has children, and he lives in New Lenox, about 30 miles from Downers Grove. At the meeting, members of the group joined parents and others in the audience, holding signs saying no porn, and jeered at the board and any students or parents who spoke in support of the book, but the group of men largely did not make any public remarks themselves. They also didn't appear to wear Proud Boys regalia or clothing with the group's signature black and yellow colors. In a series of Twitter messages, De La Torre confirmed to the Sun-Times that he and other Proud Boys attended the meeting. But he insisted his group isn't homophobic and that he and the other Proud Boys were merely standing against the sexual imagery portrayed in Gender Queer, which isn't required reading or part of the district curriculum. The group's Telegram channel, however, includes multiple recent posts that appear to be homophobic and transphobic. He added that some Proud Boys are parents concerned on what is being shown to their sons and daughters, though it's unclear whether he has children or not. De La Torre, 34, of Chicago, was previously seen outside the U.S. Capitol as rioters stormed the building January 6th. Other Proud Boys have since been ensnared in the sprawling federal investigation into the insurrection and its planning. De La Torre was later arrested in connection to a march dust-up at an anti-Biden rally in Schaumburg. The charges against him were ultimately dropped, Cook County records show. Kramer, 31, was seated in one of the first rows right behind the microphone stand where speakers addressed the board. Reached by phone and text message Tuesday, Kramer threatened to call the cops and declined to answer questions, but acknowledged he was at the meeting. He questioned where a Sun-Times reporter found his phone number because, quote, he did not put it anywhere at the meeting last night. He was arrested last July in Joliet when he allegedly disrupted a Black Lives Matter demonstration and, quote, brandished a hunting knife and held it in a threatening manner, police said. Will County court records show he was charged with misdemeanor counts of reckless conduct and disorderly conduct in that case for allegedly aggressively pulling his vehicle into a crowd of protesters before displaying the knife and yelling obscenities at protesters. A jury trial is scheduled to start January 4th, records show. Activist Candace Quinterly, one of the listed victims in a charging document, told the Sun-Times that Kramer initially drove past her group and yelled, "You all are going to die." That wasn't their first interaction. Quinterly had seen Kramer mulling around other protesters, and just a few weeks earlier, allegedly had called her a black Antifa B word, she said. It just freaks me out that he's just out here doing this to people, she said. That's not okay. A group of Downers North students attended the meeting to ask the school board to ignore calls for genderqueer to be banned. One of those students, Josiah Pointer, an 18-year-old senior at Downers North, told the Sun-Times that after he addressed the board, a man in the audience repeatedly told him, "You're a pedophile. You promote pedophilia," and threatened to call the police on him. In the parking lot later, the man allegedly drove up to Pointer, shouting pedophile at him, Pointer said. Shown a photo of the audience, Pointer pointed to Kramer as the man who made the comments. The last thing we need is some 30 or 40-year-old man who lives in the middle of nowhere to be calling some kid a pedophile, Pointer said. That's not okay. Lauren Perrette, a senior at Downers Grove North, said, "It made me very uncomfortable that there were men in the back yelling things out for no reason when she and her friends addressed the board. The school board president threatened to adjourn the meeting several times because of shouted interruptions, jeers, and comments to speakers. Having an adult man behind me saying things to me was very unnerving," she said. Hank Thiel, the district superintendent, didn't respond directly when asked whether he was alarmed that Proud Boy members and associates attended the meeting. All District 99 Board of Education meetings are open to members of the public, and there are always equal opportunities for attendees to address the board, he said in a statement. Divided student body. Perrette said she had been surprised by students' togetherness and supportiveness so far this school year as they grappled with the return to in-person learning during the pandemic. But students have been divided since last Monday, she said. Even the students whose parents were part of Wake Up D99, they didn't really make it a big deal or a big issue, Perrette said. But then when the Proud Boys, this big intimidating group, came in and made this issue so big, it forced students to look at what's going on. Irvin said several of her classes have discussed the week's events, she said, and she noticed for the first time a student wearing a Trump 2024 hat as he voiced his dislike of genderqueer. Students are now getting really caught up in the political controversy in the whole issue, and that's exactly what fuels groups like the Proud Boys, she said. We can't stoop down to their level and engage with them because it only strengthens them. Smart girl. Parents distance themselves from Proud Boys. Parents who want to remove the book sought to distance themselves from the Proud Boys. The Wake Up D99 group wrote in a Facebook post that it will never be associated with the Proud Boys and that its flyer was used in combination with the Proud Boys flyer without our permission. Terry Newsom, who spoke at the meeting, there's our guy again, said he didn't want his concerns as a parent of two high schoolers to be conflated with Proud Boy messaging. Yeah, he's distancing himself after he was the one giving them the signs. Newsom said he and another parent have a meeting scheduled with district administrators this week to discuss the book. You got the politics of the left and the right with the Antifa and Proud Boys, who have their own political agendas, I guess, Newsom said, referring in part to the decentralized anti-fascist activities who track and protest extremist groups. But he said that doesn't have to do with anything to do with his complaints. And just for the record, Antifa is not really a group. The FBI has come out and said that it is an ideology. It is not, Antifa is not an organized group. And in fact, I will look these up maybe here shortly. Polls will be closing in 5 minutes in Illinois, so get in line and stay in line if you want to vote. Anyway, I can, well, let's just do it now. Back in on June 2nd, 2020, CNN reported that white supremacists pose as online and cause as white supremacists pose as Antifa online and call for violence. A Twitter account that tweeted a call to violence and claimed to be representing the position of Antifa was in fact created by a known white supremacist group, Twitter said Monday. The company removed the account. Before it emerged, the account was run by white supremacist Donald Trump Jr. President Donald Trump's son pointed his 2.8 million Instagram followers to the account as an example how dangerous Antifa is. The account violated our platform manipulation and spam policy, specifically the creation of fake accounts. Remember back when Twitter cared about fake accounts? A Twitter spokesperson said in a statement, "We took action after the account sent a tweet inciting violence and broke the Twitter rules." Although the account only had a few hundred followers and is an example of white supremacists seeking to inflame tensions in the United States by posing as left-wing activists online. The revelation of the account comes as President Donald Trump increasingly blames left-wing activists for violence occurring at protests across America. How convenient. He's buddy-buddy with these guys who he later plans January 6th with. He's buddy-buddy with them, and he has them pretending to be left-wing radicals and of a fake boogeyman called Antifa, and which anti-fascism, America's always been anti-fascist. We're not the bad guys. The anti-fascists aren't the bad guys. The fascists are. And that's the one, and those are the ones that want to take away your rights. Just listen to the last 4 episodes. So anyway, so here's this fake group Antifa, and these white supremacist groups that have ties to Donald Trump are promoting these themselves as being Antifa when they're actually not. And so then he can blame this fake boogeyman for all of these riots when it's actually white supremacists starting the riots and pretending to be Antifa. And then on Sunday, Trump tweeted he would designate Antifa a terrorist organization despite the U.S. government having no existing legal authority to do so. And Antifa is not even a group. In September 17, 2020, FBI Director Chris Wray, who was under Trump, told lawmakers Thursday that Antifa is an ideology, not an organization, delivering testimony that puts him at odds with President Donald Trump. His own FBI director was saying that. Antifa is an ideology, not an organization. And then you have these white supremacists pretending to be Antifa. The fake account, Antifa_USA, or US, sorry, tweeted Sunday, "Alert, tonight's the night. Comrades, tonight we say F the city, and we move into the residential areas, the white hoods, and we take what's ours. Black Lives Matter. F America." Absolutely insane, Trump Jr. wrote on Instagram, sharing a screenshot of the tweet. Just remember what Antifa really is, a terrorist organization. They're not even pretending anymore. Ha! You're pretending they're an actual group. Your own FBI is saying they're not. A spokesperson for Donald Trump Jr. did not provide comment to CNN Tuesday morning, but later the post was removed from Trump Jr.'s Instagram feed. There is no indication whatsoever that Trump Jr. knew who was behind the account or that it was fake. Twitter said that the account was in fact linked to Identity Europa, a white power fraternity, though Twitter referred to the group as Identity Europa or Europa, however you say it. It looks like Europa, but with a V instead of a U. When discussing the account's removal, the Anti-Defamation League states that the group dissolved and reformed under the name the American Identitarian Movement, which it also calls a white supremacist group. The group promotes themselves as identitarian, that white people should preserve their racial and cultural identity. The American Identitarian Movement says it prohibits violence and illegal activity. But then they pose as a group inciting violence. CNN has reached out to the group for comment. Twitter said it had shut down other fake accounts linked to Identity Europa 2. The phenomenon of people on the right creating fake Antifa accounts predates the current wave of protests. The takedown Monday is not the first time a fake Antifa account linked to white supremacists has been suspended by Twitter, the spokesperson confirmed. So there you go. Antifa is fake. And now you're going to say CNN's the fake news organization. So back to the Downers Grove. I got something on my lip. Back to the Downers Grove. School board meeting. And then so Newsom's trying to distance himself from these Proud Boys. After giving them signs to hold on to. So, okay, continuing on. The national effort. The Proud Boys have recently joined school board protests across the country, appearing at a North Carolina meeting against mask mandates and forcing another in the state to move its meeting online, similar to what happened at a meeting in Oregon. So just going around terrorizing school board meetings, forcing people to have them offline. I mean, this is how democracy stops, and this is how they'll do it if Trump is elected tonight. The polls are closing in Illinois. Okay. David Goldenberg, regional director of the Anti-Defamation League's Midwest office, said it's now a common trend for members of the Proud Boys and other extremist groups to attend school board meetings and other public events to either recruit, to antagonize, or to engage. Meanwhile, state and federal lawmakers have taken notice of the Proud Boys' presence. Illinois General Assembly's 5-member LGBTQ caucus urged district officials to protect queer students from hate and censorship by immediately rejecting calls to censor a queer positive group in the high school library. Thiel said at the meeting the book will remain in circulation while administrators review parents' complaints. U.S. Representative Sean Casten, the Democratic congressman who represents the district, said he has talked to board members since last Monday about student safety. I think the Proud Boys are reprehensible. They're part of the biggest threat to our country, domestic terrorism, and they are part and parcel of that, Casten said. Let's be blunt about this. If you are a grown adult and you are walking through a library in an elementary school or high school and having sexual thoughts, you are the problem. It ain't the book. So that was what went down at the school board meeting. I will actually see if I can find my speech from that night and I will deliver it, although I think I might have done that before. Let's see. Oh, is this it? Oh, yes. Okay, so here's the speech that, and this is the 3-minute version. I think I did a 2-minute version. They cut down everybody's time at the school board meeting from 3 minutes to 2 minutes so that everybody could get up and be able to speak. So this is the long version of the speech. I didn't cut too much out of it, but I did paraphrase a lot of it. So anyway, this is a 3-minute speech that I gave at the school board meeting where Proud Boys were present. Baron Friedrich von Steuben, a Prussian military man hired by George Washington to whip the Continental Army into shape during the darkest days of the Revolutionary War, is known for his bravery and the discipline and grit he brought to the American troops. Historians also think he was homosexual and served as an openly gay man in the military at a time when sex between men was punished as a crime. Von Steuben was a strict drill master, but he also socialized with the troops. One of his aides, Pierre-Etienne Duponceau, recalls a particularly wild party given at Valley Forge. I don't believe I read this paragraph. His aides invited a number of young officers to dine at our quarters, he wrote, on condition that none should be admitted that had on a whole pair of breeches. The men dined in torn clothing, and he implied no clothing at all. Though his name is little known among Americans today, writes Eric Trickey for Smithsonian, every U.S. soldier is indebted to von Steuben. He created America's professional army. I wonder what he would have thought of Bill Clinton's don't ask, don't tell policy. We have all heard of the Underground Railroad. Downers Grove itself played a role in the Underground Railroad. We often hear how white people would help and harbor black people to safety, but we often never learn the genius way in which black people communicated, where the meetup point was and when. They had to hide their communication, so they did it right out in the open. The slaves would often sing in the fields as they worked. These work songs and field hollers were used to communicate many things, but one being where and when the Underground Railroad was supposed to meet. These field hollers were the precursors to the call and response of American spirituals and gospel music, and to the blues. The blues form the basis of jazz, rock and roll, R&B, funk, and even hip-hop. And who can even stand country unless it is laced with blues? To me, as a professional musician, singer, songwriter, and composer, American music is black music, because it certainly would not be the same without their influence. Unfortunately, that beautiful music was born from pain and suffering and denial of freedom, real denial of freedom. Not asking you to consider the public health and having you wear a piece of cloth on your mouth. The most patriotic person I ever knew was my father, who served for 4 years in the United States Air Force. He voluntarily signed up when the government was drafting men for the Korean War. He would never let us wear T-shirts with the American flag on it, because it is a violation of the flag code to wear the flag except as a pin or a patch. Even if it was a screen print, he said we could not wear it because it could be mistaken for the real flag. Kind of like how flag waving can be mistaken for real patriotism. I learned from my dad that it is not important to march around with a flag. What is important is doing what is needed when the health and safety of Americans is at stake. Doing what you can for your country. So right now, the most patriotic thing you can do is to wear a mask and get vaccinated. Thank you. That was the speech that I gave at the school board meeting. And then, so then a few days later, the Downers Grove Township Integrity Project had our weekly meeting. Hey, 1 second. You gotta go outside? Gotta go outside? I think my dogs might need to go outside. I might need to take a break here in just a minute. But maybe I'll see if I can play the music for Karma. While I'm taking a break. Where was I? Oh yeah, so that was the speech that I gave at the school board meeting. And okay, so then like a few days later, the the Downers Grove Township Integrity Project, we had our meeting, and at the meeting, one of the women in our group said, you guys just be very careful and watch your back. She said that she has a church job, and that where she teaches at a church and church school, and the Proud Boys were calling up her work and trying to get her fired for supporting porn. And so, she's like, just watch yourselves. And I was thinking, oh, well, I don't work for anybody. How are they going to get to me? I work for myself. I'll just work from home rather than go into my office, and I'll be fine. And it was weird because I saw this train of white vehicles go by my house one day shortly after this. It may have even been that later that day. But it was a train of white vehicles. There was a white van and a white car and a white truck. And they all drove by my house. And at first I was like, because we have a car show in Downers Grove, and I was like, maybe it's for the car show. And then I was like, wait, it's the middle of the week. Why are they driving by my house? That was weird. I wish I would have filmed it. And so anyway, that becomes pertinent later. But so anyway, I didn't think they could get me to me, and they must have been following me around. And they must have been following me around online on all my social media, waiting for me to mess up and say something controversial and then blow it out of proportions, because that's exactly what they did. I've been up late at night, and I explained this in the first video, so I'm not going to go too much into detail. But I had been up late at night, and I was working on stuff. I was tired, and I saw the headline about Waukesha, and I made the comments I made. But the thing is, if you look at my stats on all of my social media at that time, it was pretty low because I wasn't really promoting or anything. So, I was working, it was the pandemic. So, like, the stats were really low. And then all of a sudden, it's like 14,000 people were on my page, just all of a sudden, at 2 o'clock in the morning. My tweet went viral. And by 4 o'clock in the morning, Fox News had it on their website. I wouldn't say exactly 4 o'clock, but the 4 o'clock hour, they had it on their website. So it's breaking news that this little social media county person said something about Waukesha. It's that's breaking news by Fox News at 4 in the morning. And the thing was, that, what am I trying to say? So it started going viral, and I was like, oh, great. And I just kind of shut down. It happened to be like 5, and I was just like, I'm going to bed. And I went to sleep. I knew I was going to hear it, and the phone rang at 8 o'clock in the morning. And it was the head of the DuPage County Democrats. And at first, it was like, oh, well, we're going to, send you away, and maybe you can get you back and And in a few months after everything's died down, and then it turned to later on in the day that Washington, D.C. got involved. The Democrats in Washington, D.C. got involved, and the governor, and I kind of feel like the governor threw me under the bus because he was having some controversy too around comments he said about Waukesha too. At the same time, if you go and like look at the newspaper, so I think I was a convenient target to throw under the bus. And then also, I came across this graphic that somebody put together, and it's all these people that made a similar comment to me. There's like influencers and media people that made a similar joke to me that I made. I guess it was self-defense. They all had made some kind of similar self-defense joke. And yet, and they were much more famous than me too, which was weird. And yet, my tweet was the one that went viral, even though they said a similar thing and they were much more popular. Why weren't they like, oh, look at this influencer? No, it was because they wanted to target me for either turning, being an integral part in turning DuPage County from completely red, almost completely red, to almost a majority blue. Or they targeted me because they saw me as an up and comer in the Democratic Party, or the Proud Boys targeted me because they didn't like what I said about LGBTQ and people of color and freedom. I don't know. One of those reasons is why they targeted me, and then they started following me around everywhere after that. They created that Facebook group I just told you about. Oh, I wanted to also, I've got some stuff on my phone and stuff like that. But right now my puppy dog needs to go out. So I think what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to play for you my song, so because I'm guessing you can hear it while I let the dog out. Who let the dog out? Who let the dogs out? Me. All right, let me find, I'm going to play you. So this, I'm going to play you this. It seems like a good time to play this because my tweets went viral. And so this is these were messages, actual messages that I received, and like you could hear them, hang up the phone and stuff. So I took those and I made it into beats, like sounds that were in the background and stuff. I used them as percussion to create the beat for this song. And then if you go to YouTube, or actually if you go here, I think right here on Facebook, if you're right here on Facebook, I believe somewhere in the videos you'll find the video. And if not, it can be found on YouTube, or yeah. Let's see. See if I can play you the music, and I'll black out my camera and I'll come back in a few minutes after I take care of my puppy dogs. So that I can continue my story. So, okay. I'll just play it on my cell phone, and you should be able to hear it, I hope. We'll see. I'm trying to find the best place to put this. I guess here's just fine. All right, guys. I'm going to shut off my camera for just a moment, and here's Karma. Klansmen Are Ruining My America. Be sure to watch the music video either on here on Facebook or on YouTube.
Figure out. This is karma. That's what this is. Karma. Mary, guess what? The karma parade is coming to Roger Street. Oh boy. I just keep coming around and around. Right, guess what? Your phone don't know your personal information and your address on in about 50 of the time. Oh my God, this is karma dominoes. You know when they put them dominoes, they're not going for I just think that's how it's going to end. Karma. Figure out. This is karma. That's what this is. Another smart karma. Figure out. This is karma. That's what this is. Another smart karma. If it's karma, you're justifying a black man actively abusing white children, and you're defending a pedophile? Your phone number is now a threat everywhere, so that everybody can tell you what it's disgusting. I don't karma. Let's stop talking fucking beating up, bitch. You should kill yourself. Lemanski, now your blood is going to be on my hand. I am going to assure you, watch your back, because I don't worry. Okay? You just hurt yourself, you just signed your death warrant. You remember that? I was hoping to talk to Mary on that. You know, she's her, honey lady. I would love to make you think figure out. This is karma. Figure out. This is karma. Have a nice day. Go outside with the karma parade. You're the greatest man. This is karma. Figure out. This is karma. You fucked up. Hey, one other thing. I just wanted to make this clear because I know liberal dumbasses like you are like, oh, how can I email this person's word and destroy their character? You're a weak coward. You're doing mom, girl. You have a price on your head. I hope don't worry. Let's just put it that way. But above all else, I hope this news go into your soul and change you. So tell me, bitch, how do you want to die? Now, rip off the tree. You don't watch yourself real close. Look around every corner. Look at the back. Because I'm going to slice your throat. I know great thing with the iron. You're inside out. Now, rip off the tree. Bitch, you better we don't care. That one time you slip up, that's when I'm going to be there like Jack the Ripper. I make a whole ride. Now, rip off the watch your back. Doing your last day. On the last day, you're the mama. Come back. Good again, karma. Figure out what this is karma. It's all you, man. Suffering. I hope for the rest of your life you suffer. Your long life. Karma. Figure out. This is karma. Karma. Figure out. This is karma. Karma. Figure out. This is karma. Okay, fucking slut. Karma. Fucking mouth. Don't you get difficult to figure out. This is karma. You are a gross, disgusting, ugly ass pig. and you should do the world a favor and just fucking kill yourself. Karma, karma, karma. It's not that difficult to figure out. This is karma. That's what this is. I'm not very smart. Karma, karma, karma. Well, this number is all over the web. How can you be so hateful?
All right, all right. Got my puppy dogs. My puppy dogs in. Okay. All righty. All right, so that was a creative thing that I did with all of the voicemails, and if you watch the video, you can see the text that I received after my tweets went viral at 4 in the morning. See something really quick. Okay. Oh, I know one thing. So after this happened, just to let you know, the my tweet went viral and everything. That kind of emboldened the people because then they started to go to other school districts. So let me see if I can find this one. What's it say? Okay, so let me see. I need to do something really quick. I'm looking something up for us. So one of the okay, here it is. So Indian Prairie District 204, Naperville District 203 school board meetings disrupted over mask policies. This was in oops, I just lost where I was. 1 second. Okay, so the Indian Prairie School District 204 school board meeting, and this was, so ours was in November of 2021. This one was on February 9th, 2022. And the heck? It's already. Hold on a second. It's not letting me into the article. How convenient. I know I have a subscription. Why is it doing that? Let's see. Maybe it's in. Okay, here it is. Sorry about that. If this doesn't let me do it, then I'll find another way. There's another article I can read it about it. The Indian Prairie School District 204 School Board meeting Monday evening did not proceed as planned. It's like the Chicago Tribune doesn't want me to read this article. As the school board adjourned without taking any action or public comment, as some in attendance refused to wear masks. And while the school board meeting at Naperville School District 203 did ultimately run through its agenda, the board recessed multiple times because some of the audience were not wearing face coverings. I know you're not happy with it, but this is the rule, Indian Prayer Board President Lori Donahue told the crowd Monday before the board took a short recess for the first time. Rather than recess a third time, school board members voted to end the meeting. We are adjourned, Donahue said. Someone in the audience shouted, "Shame on you," in response. The Indian Prairie School Board will meet Tuesday evening with Tuesday's agenda matching the one from one night earlier. The meeting, however, will be virtual. Donahue could not be reached for comment. About 5 miles northeast of the Indian Prairie meeting, the District 203 School Board recessed 3 times as well over some in the public not wearing masks properly or at all. The District 203 audience, however, followed the board rules on masks as several in attendance wanted to be heard on the district's decision Sunday to keep its mask policy. Most spoke against the district's decision. What is clear to me is there's no point in trying to engage with this administration on mask choice at this point, said Dan Jurjovic, whose oldest son attends Naperville North High School. Allowing families to choose what is best for the children is not something you're willing to do, even if a judge rules and issues a ruling voiding the governor's executive order. Why are you continuing to enforce a mandate that has been ruled null and void? You have all shown your true colors, added parent Lisa O'Rear. Parent Alyssa Fitzgerald said the mask policy will continue dividing the community. Parents do not want to be on the opposing side of our teachers. We want to keep our teachers that we have. We are now more divided than ever, and it needs to be a collaborative effort. If the school board and our superintendent refuse to listen to our needs and wants of our community, do we even need them? We are spending a lot of money to be ignored, she said. Come on. It's a public health crisis, something that happens like once in a lifetime. I don't understand how people can be that ignorant. Naperville School District 203 parent Alyssa Fitzgerald speaks to this. Oh, sorry, that's a picture. They must have got taken down. Naperville North High School teacher Amy Vogelsang was among the minority of people who spoke in support of the district's decision Monday night, but she said a significant portion of the district community backs their decision. I want to thank you for maintaining COVID mitigation strategies in the face of enormous public pressure to pretend the pandemic is over. School should be a safe place to learn and work, Vogelsang said. Superintendent Dan Bridges said none of us want the temporary restraining order ruling further dividing District 203 even more. Let me be clear, I do not, and this board does not want to see our students and staff be masked indefinitely, Bridges said. He is asking public health authorities to further update criteria guiding schools on COVID-19 measures. District officials are reviewing the return to school plan they presented in the summer that reopened schools in person, he said. I also intend, in partnership with other superintendents and other advocacy groups, to continue pushing for clear guidance on schools that will allow us to move more freely and make decisions on a local basis, he said. It really seems silly, and looking back at all this, that they raised such a stink about masks. something that health professionals have been wearing for over 100 years. I mean, you wouldn't want yours to go in for surgery without your surgeon wearing a mask. I mean, use common sense. So that was the school board meeting in Indian Prairie and Naperville, and this is in the February after my tweet went viral, where I spoke at a school board meeting the week before. And then there's also here, one second. What did that say? Looking up another one. Okay. So what was that at? One second. I'm trying to look up this article on this website. So I can read it better. When is this article published? February 23rd. One second. Okay, here it is. Finally found it. Oh, could probably read it better on here. Let's see. See if it'll let me read it. Okay. In Hinsdale, District 86, so this is a neighboring, a nearby suburb from Downers Grove. Naperville is nearby too. I guess they all are. So they're all like targeting schools in the suburbs of Chicago. In Hinsdale, this is, by the way, this article was from February 23rd, 2022 as well. So the thing that happened to me was in November, after I spoke at the school board meeting, was in November of 2021. And so they were emboldened. And so in February 2022, they started back up again. In Hinsdale, District 86, alleged equity shaming, fuels petition calling for superintendent's removal. The latest effort from some Hinsdale High School District 86 parents and community members pushing for the resignation of Superintendent Tammy Prentice is a petition with close to 1,000 signatures calling for her removal. The petition was started by former District 86 Board President Kay Gallo, who wrote in part on the website, through her deliberate misrepresentations, Superintendent Prentice attempted to advance her extreme DE and I agenda by equity shaming District 86 and creating a false media narrative that damaged the reputation of Hinsdale and all other the communities comprising D86. Just for the record, and just so you know something a little bit about Hinsdale, Hinsdale is very upper crust, nouveau riche people. There's probably some old money there too, but it's very, there's a lot of wealthy people in Hinsdale. We'll just say that. Opponents of Prentice have been rallying against her for some time now, but the effort was bolstered by Valda Valbrun, an anti-racism consultant from Valbrun Consulting Group, withdrew a proposal to provide diversity, equity, inclusion training to faculty, and Prentice read the withdrawal letter, out loud at a January 13th board meeting. I'm drinking soda. So the letter alluded to disparaging online comments from folks in the community, which made Voldrum feel unsafe. Tammy Prentice made a decision to read the letter. What did she think she was going to accomplish by doing that other than chaos and division? I think she's shown bad judgment, said Yvonne Mayer, District 86 community member who has been vocal about her opposition to Prentice for months. She was exercising her freedom of speech. Part of the controversy surrounding the situation is based on two sentences in Valbrun's letter, which many of the petition's website believed were added by Prentice. It's always a conspiracy with these people. People are always out to get you. They're always adding some little stab in it. Nobody has time for that. In response to a Freedom of Information Act request by a community member, the district released records on January 31st showing that Valbrun emailed Prentice on January 12th with her letter of withdrawal. It's not clear if any correspondence or communication took place outside of that email thread, but the FOIA indicated that Prentice emailed Valbrun a revised withdrawal statement on January 13th with a note saying, "Please preview." The added sentence in question reads, "I got several messages yesterday, and I really think Hinsdale is a dangerous place. It would not be physically comfortable there." At the time of the FOIA request, district officials said the letter was reworked by Valbrun's ask. Nobody knows. This is why it's so important that the BOE do an investigation and inform the community what are the facts, Mayor said. How do you go from receiving a letter and then reading a different letter? Was there communication exchange between them? No one knows. Based on previous reporting by Pioneer Press, Valbrun unexpectedly received nasty direct messages on her personal social media platforms on January 12th, which is when she decided to step back and send an email to act as a formal withdrawal. Valbrun said she received hate mail, threats, direct messages on Twitter, and friend requests on Facebook from those with the Hinsdale zip code between January 12th and January 13th. After a Facebook post in which Valbrun condemned the Republican Party began to circulate around the District 86 community. In the reasons for citing section on the change.org petition to remove the District 86 leader, several apprentices' opponents cite the handling of the diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant situation, including the altered letter, while several more think she's not fit to lead a high-caliber district on the basis of credentials. Others in the Hinsdale community, like Reed Cullum, think the movement against Prentice is a product of backlash over the district's diversity and inclusion work as opposed to being rooted in the superintendent's qualifications. It's easy for them to go after the superintendent. They can't go after a Black diversity, equity, inclusion consultant who wrote a letter because that would be pretty obvious racial backlash, McCullum said. So they go after the superintendent and fabricate some sort of story with FOIA documents that she altered the consultant's letter. Then there's plausible deniability for what is just utter white fragility and backlash. It's like you're out of a textbook. McCullum, whose children attend District 181 and will later attend Hinsdale Central, said he's much more focused on fighting misinformation and the grossly inappropriate accusations than choosing a side. But he is convinced the most people who are opposed to Prentice's diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts deflect the purpose of equity work by making it about the types of people chosen to provide the training. There are people that say, hey, we're happy with equity, but it can't possibly be diversity, equity, inclusion consultant that has ever posted anything negative about Trump on Facebook, McCollum explained. Come on, really? That's a classic conservative gaslighting tactic that allows people to not make it about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Before Valbrum Consulting Group stepped down, District 86's effort to hire an equity consultant encountered a previous setback that also had something to do with anti-conservative social media posts causing concerns within the community. You have to find consultants that are going to bring the community together, said Mayor, who is Mexican-American. And the reality is that we live in a pretty solid Republican area. And so to even consider hiring somebody who has gone on social media and basically attacked the entire Republican Party, it just shows a lack of judgment by the superintendent, that she doesn't understand the community that she would like to bring diversity, equity, and inclusion into. Mayor added that Prentice has not only struck out twice in finding a consultant to do important DEI work, but has also made generalized derogatory statements about the Hinsdale community to the media. I really hope she's looking for another job at this point. It would probably be in her best interest to do so. There are probably districts out there who would think that someone progressive like her, if that's what you want to call her, would be a great addition to their district. But for this community right now, this moment in time, I think she's just done too much damage and created too much chaos. And unfortunately, she's lost the support of a lot of people. Community members who signed the petition including Linda Burke, who has been a vocal supporter of a mask mandate in schools, said the petition is not about a single issue. Prentice has been correct and courageous on COVID mitigations. I deplore the hatred directed at her on this. However, I decided to sign because she should have not have called out the entire district. She did not merely call out racist behavior where it occurred, which I would strongly support. Also, I signed on the basis of academic policy, Burke said. In November 2020, the board unanimously voted to extend Prentice's contract, which began in 2019, by 3 years. In 2021, Prentice earned an award of merit in the administrator category as part of the 2021 Distinguished Service Awards program sponsored by the Illinois chapter of the National School Public Relations Association. District 86 declined to comment at the time of publication. That was originally published on February 23rd, 2022 in the Chicago Tribune, as was the previous article about the Indian school and Naperville. So they're attacking diversity and inclusion. They were attacking masks at Hinsdale, at Indian Prairie, is that what I said? And Naperville. So there's this common theme going on with first Downers Grove and then going around to the different suburbs and speaking up at the school board meetings. And I know that some of the people at the school board meeting that I was at, where the Proud Boys were present, confronted them and they said, you don't even pay taxes here. You're not even from this state. And their reply, or some of them were not even from the city or the town, from the village. And their response was, well, our federal tax dollars pay for everything. So we can go to any school board meeting we want to and speak up. So if Trump wins tonight, expect a lot more of that. Let's see, what else, what other gems do I have to share with you tonight? Because I know there's more. Oh, yes. So what has happened since? We're just getting into it, I guess. Okay. So let me pull up some of my correspondence. I could read you some of the emails too. I didn't really publish any of the emails in my little video. I hope you could hear that song when I played it. But one thing I will do is when I forwarded all of these emails to the police, I have a ton of emails where I was being threatened. I emailed those all to the police. Let's see. Let me see if I can find any like stories of stuff that and uh the night after or the night of that incident, the night following, not the night that my tweet went viral, but the night after that, I had somebody try to deliver a pizza to my house, which was funny because I was talking to a friend who had found some information about me on the dark web, because he used to be a hacker and still would go into these groups and see what was going on, and he found some threads on me in the dark web, and so my information had been doxed. It was doxed, and and then later the FBI confirmed this, but the FBI didn't come and see me until a year later. And then they were like, "Do you know you were doxxed?" And I said, "Yeah." And then I thought they were talking about the first time. And then they're like, "No, you were doxxed again." And and when I had been doxxed again, I hadn't had as much activity. It didn't seem like there was ton that when it first happened, there was tons of people driving by for like especially the first 24 hours. And then it was crazy, like almost to the hour. Well, it was like no, it was like in the morning. It was in the morning, I thought. Trying to remember if it was in the morning or the afternoon. It was like a day after all of this happened. After the day after the pizza got delivered and everything. So my one thing, let me backtrack. My friend told me he's like, "Hey, did they send you a pizza yet?" And I was like, "How did you know?" He's like, "That's the first one of the first things they do. I send somebody a pizza." So I had called the police and they had talked to the pizza guy and everything. And so I had a pizza delivered to me. Luckily, it was just me in the house. My kids were with my ex-husband, so he wasn't there. And I called him up and I was just like, "Yeah, I said some things. My mouth is big and I put my foot in it a lot. And this was a time and it was not a good time." And so, sorry. So anyway, he kept the kids for like a week because I was getting all kinds of phone calls and just weird people driving by the house and all kinds of threatening emails and text messages. And so anyway, the day after the police, or the day after the pizza came, it was like late morning. I have it written down somewhere. I have all these notes that I took and saved all these emails that I was emailing, the police and the FBI and everybody. Well, I didn't email the FBI till later, or message the FBI until later. But the I saved all of these, and someday maybe I'll make sense of it and do a book. We'll see. But for now, I'm talking here because it's got 4 more minutes until the polls close, I believe. in Mountain Time. So polls will be closing soon in Colorado and all the mountain states. Mountain Time. Between 7 and 7:30. I'm not sure which states had. It seemed like all the states were closing around 7 or 7:30. Okay, so I just thought. So that all happened. And in the video, the music video, I talk about some other the things that had happened. One weird thing that I didn't talk about in the video was the white cars. So, like the day after all of that happened with the pizza guy, the three white cars came by the house again. And I just wonder what the symbolism is. I know from my friend that was the Arizona Hammerskin that he that there's a lot of rituals and stuff that they do in these groups. So I don't know if there was some sort of ritual with the white cars driving by my house. I don't know. It was weird. It was very weird, and I wish I would have filmed it because I sound like a crazy person talking about it. But I had somebody harassing me on Twitter, and his Twitter profile name was Parade Driver. Parade Driver. And this parade of white cars going by my house. His name was Parade Driver. And so, yeah, I think maybe there was something weird going on with that too. Um, so, okay, so at one point in time, um, oh, this was maybe a week or so after all of this went down. Um, I I was being followed. I was being followed, and it was through my SIM card on my phone. The hackers were able to track me down and follow me through the SIM card because I'd been doxxed, right? And I went into T-Mobile, and the woman there told me, I don't think she understood the severity of what was going on. But she's like, oh yeah, if you just go reset your phone or whatever, um, then then it'll get rid of them, and then just restart the phone. And they were still tracking me through my SIM card. And so then I ended up getting a new phone completely. Um, but uh, there were some weird things that happened. So let me go through these emails that I had sent to the police, and see if I can piece together. So there was one story. Let's see. Uh, oh, here. Okay, this is December 6th. So like a couple weeks after this all happened. Um, hello, detective has been less eventful since I got a prepaid phone to carry around. Oh, so the reason why I got a prepaid phone, my kids and I went to this T-Mobile, right? And the lady said, do this, and they were still following me around, so I got a new cell phone. Um, uh, oh, wait. I had gotten a prepaid phone. That's what I did. I got a prepaid phone to carry around. So And it says, I've had some glitchy things with my other phone, like it won't update, but the emails and messages have trickled down to next to nothing. So this was just like a week or so later, a week and a half later, or whatever. I was no longer getting as many messages. My friend who watches the conspiracy and hacker websites has said that nothing new has come up in the past couple days. It's just following up to see where things were with the investigation. And he said it's good to hear that things are quieting down. We still have an extra patrol for your residents in place for now. I've been documenting everything you have shared with me as far as where I am with my investigation. I have subpoenaed Facebook reference, those Facebook profile accounts that sent direct threats. Just a heads up, subpoenas do take some time to get the information back. Once I get the subpoenas back, I'll see what information Facebook gives back and go from there. If these subjects live around here, we can follow up. If they don't live around here, then I can forward to the proper jurisdictions. Don't hesitate to reach out to me in the meantime if you need anything. Take care. I should also say that somebody tried to set up a credit card in my name. Someone reported me to the Department of Children and Family Services for being abusive. So I had to work with a child protection specialist to get cleared. Let's see what else. I also had went texting my work number multiple times, but non-threatening. This is a different email to the detective. I eventually responded about a donation I quietly made to the Waukesha Fund. This was the other day. I just checked my messages and found that they made a mistake forwarding my message and responded to me instead. This is the second time I've caught someone doing this. So this you'll see in the music video. The guy goes, "Good morning." This is one of the Proud Boy people messaging me. "Good morning, it's Larry. Please call me when you get a chance." By this way, I looked up this guy's phone number, and he was a tow truck owner in a local suburb near to me. He owns a tow truck company. So these are professional people. "Good morning, it's Larry. Please call me when you get a chance regarding a road trip to Waukesha. Could save your career. I could leave in an hour's notice." Yeah, like I'm going to go ride with some stranger to go to Waukesha. Why? "The man killed them, and you know it. Nothing to do with anything more than being a racist terrorist. He should be charged with both, and you know it. He's a career domestic terrorist. If you don't want any more communication, then change your email and phone number. I'm not stopping until I get to there's a few more. In my music video, I folded out further. And then he messages me back a day later. This is November 28th. This is like 7 days after this all went down. "We going? I hope you watch 60 Minutes. If you have it in you, which I doubt, you might give a little insight as to the pain of losing a child looks like, much less a little boy and girl being hit by a 4,000-pound car. We need to comfort and support their community." And that's when I said I did not release a formal statement, but I gave $10,000 to the United Way Fund for the Waukesha victims on Friday. This was the day after Thanksgiving that I did that. And then he goes, "Not sure how to respond. She's definitely doing damage control." So he thinks he's talking to somebody else. He thinks he's forwarding my messages on to somebody else, but he actually just sent it to me. And then he goes, "I've held on to a lot of texts and emails overnight and decided not to send them the next day. I got to think about this one. Maybe wait and see what her apology sounds like, if it's heartfelt or not. I hope it is. She should be in tears and humble when she does. I sure would be." And then he comes back 2 minutes later. "Wrong person, Mary. FYI, I'm done, and thank you. Probably are a good person. Good luck, and thank you for responding. God bless you and your family, and have a Merry Christmas. Life is precious and short, And we are only here for the ride. Coward. He got caught. I guess I have the more details on that one. I'm not stopping until I get to the bottom of your hatred to good people in the human race, regardless of political beliefs, of which I have none. I don't care if someone is left, right, north, south, east, or west. We are all human. Yeah, you don't have any political ideals, but you just like went on and on about people being racist terrorists and stuff. Okay, what else?